Hi, it's Stacy from Proven Winners Color Choice Shrubs, and it's early June here in West Michigan, and I'm going to take you on a tour of every Proven Winners Color Choice rose that's blooming in our trial gardens right now. So first up here is Ringo Allstar Rose. And the Ringo series is characterized by a couple of different things. Number one, as you might be able to tell by the name and looking at these flowers, the colorful ring in the center of each bloom. And second of all, the Ringo series changes colors as the flowers age. So you can see that when the flowers are really fresh and new, they have this kind of bright orangey pink color and a very deep red ring in the center. Then as they start to age, they turn a little bit more of a sherbet color, with the center taking on more pink. And then finally, when they're just about to drop, they turn to a pale pink with a darker pink center. Now this is a mass planting, so it has a lot of flower power, but like all Proven Winners Color Choice roses, this is a plant that does not need any deadheading in order to keep blooming, and it will give you flowers all season long. And this is Atlast Rose. Now, if you didn't hear the story behind the name of Atlast Rose, it's called Atlast because it was one of the very first disease-resistant landscape roses that also had the big, old-fashioned, fully petaled flowers and fragrance. So it was like, at last, finally, there's a rose that combines modern-day performance with old-fashioned appeal. And you can see how beautiful it is. The flowers have this really pretty, soft, apricot-y orange color. You can see it's positively laden with buds. And you might also notice that on the ground are a bunch of petals. Those are from the roses that have already bloomed. And what that indicates is that Atlast is a self-cleaning rose. So that means that as the flowers fade, the petals just fall off naturally. And that keeps you from getting that big, ugly, like clump of brown petals sticking to the rose. So it helps to prevent a lot of fungal diseases, and it keeps the plant looking really fresh and clean. And this is Rise Up Amberness Rose. So the Rise Up series is one of our newer rose series, and they are what we're calling mini climbers. So what that means is that they are climbing roses, but they aren't going to get huge. They're not going to overtake your house. They're pretty well behaved, and they generally reach about 5 to 7 feet tall. So they're really the perfect height for covering like a post on a pergola, a porch, or a trellis like this. Like I said, it's early June here in West Michigan, so a lot of our roses are only just getting started, and that's certainly what you're seeing here with Rise Up Amberness. Tons of buds and a few flowers that are open. Another thing that's really amazing about the Rise Up series is it has outstanding fragrance. So Rise Up Amberness we named because the flowers are kind of like an ambery, orange, yellowy color, and they do go to this paler color as they age. Nice and full, beautifully fragrant, and an easy plant for covering any kind of structure. And this glorious creature is Rise Up Lilac Days. Beautiful color, almost like a bluish kind of purple. And the fragrance on this thing, honestly, I wish you could smell it. It is such a beautiful, complex fragrance and so strong. I mean, I keep smelling it, but you can honestly smell the fragrance just coming off the plant, even without sticking your nose in it. So you can see this one has almost completely covered this particular trellis. And I love that it has this curtain of flowers. And you might think that's going to be difficult to get, but it's not. As long as you just prune it so that it's putting its energy into fewer buds, you at home will be able to get this same beautiful carpet effect of flowers on Rise Up Lilac Days. This is Rise Up Ringo Rose. So in the Rise Up series, so it has that same climbing mini climber habit, but like the Ringo series that we just talked about with Ringo All-Star, each flower has a center and it goes through those color changes as the blooms age. Another difference though between other Ringos aside from the climbing habit is that it has these full double flowers. So it's a very interesting look and a beautiful yellow climber, though I do have to say it doesn't have the fragrance that a lot of the other roses in the Rise Up series have. So that's a consideration if you're trying to decide which of the Rise Up roses you should plant. And here's the newest member of the Rise Up series, Rise Up Ember Rays. And so that's ember, like a fire ember, as you can see, with this bright kind of fiery pink, orange, and yellow in there. A lot of colors on this one. This is a newer plant, so it hasn't been planted as long, so that's why it's not covering the trellis quite as much as the others. But if you love that bold, bright color, this is an excellent choice. This one is also one of the less fragrant varieties, so again, if your goal in planting a climbing rose is that fragrance, definitely stick with Rise Up Amberness or Rise Up Lilac Days and choose these more for their color and vigor. So even though we already showed you Rise Up Lilac Days, we had to show it again because look at these things. They are absolutely gorgeous. They're swarming with bees and they smell so, so good. I really wish we had smell-o-vision. But if you see this plant at the garden center, even if you can't grow roses, at least stop by and smell it yourself. This is Oso Easy Double Red. Now this is the first of the Oso Easy series of roses that we've encountered on this tour so far. And the Oso Easy series is our longest running rose series, and it really started as kind of a showcase for all of our low maintenance, disease resistant roses. And this is a great example, very, very vigorous, very disease resistant. And it's really, again, just getting started, but you can see they have these big, full, almost bowl-shaped red blooms. I think this is a great setting, especially for this plant. So as you can see, this is at our guest cottage here in our trial gardens. And the roses kind of act as a hedge on the side of this porch. So they bring a ton of color. They don't obstruct your view of the river behind you. And they're just a really great plant to look at. And the Oso Easy roses, like the rest of our roses, bloom all summer without deadheading. So especially in a cooler climate like ours here in Michigan, this thing will never be without flowers. So it's almost as floriferous as something like an annual, but it's a permanent rose that you only have to trim in spring, and then you just get to enjoy the rest of the season. And this glorious planting is Oso Easy Peasy Rose. So right now you're not seeing a whole lot of color on this, but if you look a little bit closer, you will see that this planting is packed with tens of thousands, I'm not even exaggerating, buds that are about to open. And when this planting is in full bloom, it is magnificent. As you can see, the colors are super bright. The flowers are small, but there's so many of them that the effect truly is stunning. Also, you'll notice that each individual flower is really, really full and packed with petals. Oso Easy Peasy Rose comes to us from a wonderful rose breeder by the name of David Zlisak, who's worked at the University of Minnesota and the University of Wisconsin. And his specialty is very, very disease resistant and very, very hardy roses. So if you live in a cold climate and you're thinking, oh man, I can't grow these roses, Oso Easy Peasy Rose is a great choice for you because you will get this kind of performance even down there in USDA Zone 4. So if you want a rose with a lot of impact and almost no maintenance, I really don't know you can do much better than Oso Easy Peasy. Here we have Oso Easy Urban Legend Rose, and this is a red pink. It's very compact, so if you want a rose that's not going to grow very tall, you're kind of using it as a ground cover or weed control, this is a great choice. Very, very colorful, extremely floriferous. You can see how densely packed all the flowers are on this, and they are semi-double, and there's still tons more buds to come. I love this plant because it's so colorful and so easy to care for. This pretty little thing is Flavorette Paired Rose. So if you haven't heard about the Flavorette series, it's really cool. This comes from that same breeding program in Serbia that the reminiscent roses come from, but these were developed specifically for eating. And you may not realize it, but roses have been used for food and beauty for centuries. And what their team has done is developed roses that are selected specifically for flavors and scents that you can use in salads, sweets, drinks, anything you can imagine. And this particular one is selected for its resemblance to a pear, the fruit a pear. So they're very easy to use. You can use them as cut flowers as well. Beautiful fragrance, very disease resistant and easy to grow. And as you can see, you will pretty much never be without rose petals that you can use in dishes. So as we were walking through the garden, we saw this beautiful planting of Oso Easy Double Red and just wanted to show it to you again, just for some additional perspective. As you can see, this one really is showing the red color very nicely. It gets full sun out here on the bike path and laden with those beautiful, like I said, bowl-shaped flowers. This is one of my absolute favorites just for the way it looks. Here at the entrance to our trial garden, we've got a twofer. We have Oso Easy Double Pink down here, and then Oso Easy Ice Bay back here. But Oso Easy Double Pink here is another low-growing rose, very full pink flowers, and extremely floriferous. So this is one, it's a great example. You can see how many flowers are on this plant now, but also that it has at least this many buds. So those will open next. It's going to take a little bit of a rest to put on new growth, and then it will come back with more and more flowers through the rest of the summer, like the rest of the Oso Easy series. If you're like me and you love hot, bright colors in your flowers, Oso Easy en Fuego is the rose for you. This is actually the newest member of the Oso Easy series, at least as of this filming. And as you can see, the flowers are so bright. They look like they are on fire, which of course is what en fuego means in Spanish. They are orange, they're yellow, they're red, and as you can see, absolutely covered, really beautiful, fabulous bloom coverage on these. So not only do you get that great color, but you get a lot of it. I love this plant. If I could grow roses, which I can't because I have deer, this is the one that I would definitely choose because I love this color. Now, speaking of not being able to grow roses, I hope that if you cannot grow roses either for hardiness or deer, or you don't have enough sun, or any of the other reasons that you might not be able to grow roses, I hope you really enjoyed this tour. And if you can grow roses, I hope it inspired you to add some new Proven Winners Color Choice roses to your garden this year. This does not represent all of the roses in our line. We have like 23, we have a lot of them. So just a couple of highlights of what's in bloom here in our trial garden in early June in Michigan. If you like this video, please don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss any more of our garden tours and other videos on plants. Thank you.